What's up, everybody? Welcome back for the next game. So continuing on here with the final recording session of 2022 here on my YouTube channel and my Rumble channel too, if all goes according to plan. I do plan to upload these videos to Rumble as well. We'll see. Not entirely sure on that yet, but yeah. Either way, whether you're watching on Rumble or YouTube, I'm going to be continuing on with giving my overall thoughts on 2022 with regards to, you know, just the world in general, my personal thoughts, stuff with regards to my personal life, and stuff with regards to this YouTube channel and my various social media operations that I run here out of Basement Cave Studios. And yeah, so let's get this fucking party started. So this time we got Tom Ados, who won the last game, taking on Lance, Brad, and William. So we'll see how this goes. Alright, let's do this shit. Alright, so unfortunately this time, I hate to be a bit of a Debbie Downer, but you know, last time we discussed the feel-good story of 2022, at least with regards to my personal life, and now we're going to talk about a couple of the not-so-good things that happened in 2022, so I'm going to get this one out of the way first. So unfortunately in 2022, we had to put one of my dogs to sleep because he was like a million fucking years old, you know. He was just having too many health problems and shit. So that kind of sucked. He was like a big, like pit bull mix. We're not sure exactly what he was as far as like breed is concerned, but he was like a pit bull mixed with like a Staffordshire Terrier, we think. He was a big, bulky dog, you know. Great dog for giving hugs to. He loved getting hugs, too. Some of you guys actually may have seen him briefly in when I did that recording session of Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, which is actually a really cool recording session that I did. Like, if you guys are ever curious as to any of, like, the behind-the-scenes here at Basement Cave Studios, definitely go check out my Mario Kart Live Home Circuit videos. Get to see a little bit of Basement Cave Studios, which I think is pretty cool. Of course, I'm not actually in a basement at the moment. Of course, when I first started out with this YouTube channel, I was in a basement, you know, at my mom's house. But Basement Cave Studios is an idea that I came up with a long time ago. So that's what I call my recording studios, Basement Cave Studios. So, yeah. But anyway, unfortunately, so we had to have him put to sleep. He lived for 14 years, though, like upwards of 14 years. We're not sure exactly how old he was, but that dog lived a good, long life. I mean, that's, you know, that's part of what makes me, you know, feel better about that whole thing is that, you know, that dog lived a lot longer than anyone expected to. You know, his previous owner, the reason why we ended up with him was because his previous owner passed away. So my dad kind of inherited that dog. And the previous owner did not take the best care of him. He was like very overweight. You know, just had a couple health problems already. So for him to live 14 years was way beyond what I expected. So that dog lived a good long life, you know. We did what we set out to do and give him a good second half of his life, because we inherited him when he was like probably 7, 8 years old when we got him from the previous owner, I would say. He was probably 7, 8 years old, so, I mean, we did what we set out to do, you know, give him a good rest of his life and take care of him and shit. And he lived a lot longer than I expected. For a big, bulky dog like that to live that long, that's pretty impressive. So, it was sad, but, you know, when you look at it, that dog lived a lot longer than we expected, so that's good. You know, he lived a good, long life. So that's not something to be sad about necessarily, but something to be celebrated, you know. Death is always, you know, sad, obviously, but you always got to look at the positive aspect of any given situation. You know, that dog lived a good, long life. And there's something to be said for that. He will be missed, no doubt, but he had a good long life. He was a good dog. Really was. You know, he was one of those dogs that kind of looked scary, you know, and intimidating, but he's the biggest fucking softie. Like, that dog was such a big baby. Like, you think to yourself, oh my god, it's a big, scary pit bull dog. Yeah. Dude, that dog was a total fucking baby. He was just a big, fat baby. Whoa! Holy shit! Did you guys see that? Holy shit! That's the coolest spare I've seen in a long time. Damn! I know I was talking about some serious shit here, but like, damn, that was sick. Man, that was cool. Man, I haven't seen shit like that in a long time. Damn, that was a hell of a fucking spare. That was like perfect. Damn. That was some sick ass shit right there. But yeah, anyway, so that was probably one of the not so great things that happened in 2022. But I'm going to talk about the other thing. So earlier this year, actually it was right after my brother's wedding, there was an incident at my mom's house where somehow the stove, while she was asleep, the stove caught on fire somehow, and there was a bit of a minor fire at my mom's house. Pretty much the whole house ended up covered in soot and shit like that. So dealing with the aftermath of that was a huge pain in the ass. Not to mention, during the incident, somehow, we still don't know exactly what happened, because somehow during the incident, we think that my mom somehow put the fire out. But I don't know if she, like, slipped and fell on something or whatnot, but at some point during this whole incident, she slipped, fell, hurt her head, and literally, like, lost her memory of what happened. You know, she, like, lost a couple hours, basically, worth of memory. Or we don't even know, like, how much of her memory she lost exactly, but she lost, like, a couple hours worth of memory, so we don't know exactly what happened exactly with that situation. We think it was a malfunction with the stove, because she said before that, like, the stove has turned itself on before by itself, just because it, like, malfunctions or something. So we think that's what happened, but we're still not entirely sure. But yeah, she ended up with like a minor brain bleed. She's fine now, you know, and all that good shit. So, I mean, really the whole thing could have been a hell of a lot worse. So, you know, you got to count your blessings. But it still wasn't a great thing to have to deal with, obviously. Dealing with that was a pain in the ass. My mom was refusing to go to the hospital, too, after that, which was really annoying. But eventually we got her to go. You know, they discovered the brain bleed and all that shit. So it's like, you know, that's why you go to the fucking hospital when something like that fucking happens. You don't just say, oh, yeah, no, I'll be fine. No. You hit your head hard enough to lose some memory? Yeah, you should probably go to the fucking hospital and get checked out. Yeah, the medical bills are going to suck. But what's your life worth to you? You know? At a certain point. So, yeah, dealing with that was a colossal pain in the ass. Not gonna lie. Not gonna pretend like it wasn't, but everything's better now. Got it all dealt with. Actually, just recently my mom had a lot of had to have the whole house repainted, but she recently got that done, which was good because the kitchen looked like a complete mess with like all the burn marks and shit. So at least they got that cleaned up now, so that's good. But like we had to have everything taken out of the house, brought to like a cleaning facility, and then have everything in the house cleaned because everything was covered in soot. Like the soot got literally all throughout the house. And my mom has a pretty big ass house. Like the house that I grew up in, it's fucking like 2 stories. I mean, technically 3 stories if you count the basement as a story. Actually, now that I think about it, technically 4 stories if you count the attic as well, but for all intents and purposes, is a 2-story house with a basement. You know, the same basement that I used to record all my videos in and shit. So yeah, dealing with that whole fucking thing was not fun. And that happened literally, like, the day after my brother's wedding reception. It was when that happened, so I was the one who ended up getting the call from the fire department. My mom was, like, in the back of an ambulance all covered in soot and shit. And you could tell she was, like, confused and whatnot and not sure, like, what was going on. And that was not a fun situation to deal with, let me tell you. That was, yeah, it was not fun. Not fucking fun at all. Like, my mom was honestly completely losing her shit. So, yeah, not fun. Not fun at all. Would not recommend that experience. 0 out of 10. Definitely would not recommend. So, yeah, that kind of sucked, I guess. But, you know, we got through it. Everything's fine now, so is what it is. Put that behind us and, you know, move forward. So, yeah. But, I mean, other than that, luckily, I mean, you know, between my dog passing away and having to deal with that whole issue, I mean, generally speaking, that's probably, like, the 2 worst things that happened this year. So, I mean, not too bad, I guess, you know. Not too bad. Again, any time that I go to bed with a roof over my head and food in the fridge and water, can't really bitch about much, you know. Everything else is just details, man. So long as you got that shit, you're good to go. You know, I always try to never take anything for granted, always try to count my blessings and all that good shit, and I'm a lot more blessed than a lot of other people out there, and I definitely try to keep that in perspective and try not to take anything for granted. You know, there was a time in my life, you know, when my dad and mom split up. My mom was the one who got custody, and things were not very good for a while there. You know, my mom was barely making enough money to scrape by, and things were tough for a while, you know. And when you grow up like that, you really, really learn to appreciate everything you've got, and you learn how to make the most of what you've got. And those are important life lessons that I'm glad I had the opportunity to learn at an early age. And I feel like I've been made a better person because of that. And I'm not trying to say, oh, yeah, I'm such a great person or anything. I'm just saying that because that's the way I think it is. So, yeah. Life is strange sometimes, man. Life is strange. Beyond a doubt. All right. Well, anyway, enough doom and gloom. I know it was kind of more of a Debbie Downer kind of video, but hopefully we can avoid more of that shit. The rest of the shit that I'm going to be going over is actually going to be pretty uplifting, I think. At least for me personally, so that's good, you know. Got that going for me, so pretty fucking sweet. So, yeah. Anyway, stay tuned for the next part of this video coming up next, and yeah, till then, peace out.